the last 9 days, I went out surfing 7 times. So my shoulders are definitely feeling it. My local surf break has a rating of medium for shoulder burn from Surfline, meaning it's worse on bigger days, requiring more effort to get into and stay in position. But that's not how everyone else understands shoulder burn. And that's what we'll talk about today. Welcome to the Wipeout Weekly, the daily podcast for beginners, wannabe surfers, and seasoned wipeout enthusiasts. No hype, no filler, just the highs, lows, and honest truth about learning to surf and finding your place in surf culture. I'm your host, Suze Wilson. Let's go out. Shoulder burn. To me, it's that feeling you get after a session where some of it's the good pain. Hey, I've exercised pain. And some of it is the kind of exhaustion that makes you rethink your life choices. Is surfing life? No wonder I do want to know why surfing is so hard on your shoulders, how to tell the difference between normal fatigue and the start of something more doctor visit requiring serious, and what can you actually do to fix it? And, obviously, prevent it in the first place. Let's start with why it happens. Surfers spend about 80% of their time paddling. That's why we should be calling it paddling, not surfing. Thousands of strokes in a single session. That sounds like a really high number. I'm not quite sure if I believe it. Definitely does not apply to me. And that alone is enough to wear you down. Your shoulders are the most mobile joints in your body. Did you know that? They have this huge range of motion because they're held together mainly by tendons instead of stronger ligaments. Great for mobility, terrible for stability. Over time, all that paddling creates an imbalance. Your internal rotators, muscles like your pecs, get super strong and tight. Meanwhile, the little stabilizer muscles in your upper back and rotator cuff get tired and weak. And when that imbalance goes on too long, you get problems. Impingement, tendinitis, or even tears. Here's the science in plain English. When you paddle, especially with your arm reaching overhead, a little tendon in your rotator cuff, called the supraspinatus, slides through a tight gap in your shoulder. Over time, that tendon can get pinched or inflamed. This is what people call shoulder impingement. It feels like a dull ache or a sharp pinch when you lift your arm or reach behind you. Sometimes it even sends pain down your arm. If you ignore it, that swollen tendon starts to fray, and you end up with a partial or full rotator cuff tear. That's when simple movements like putting on a t-shirt suddenly hurt like hell. So how do you know if it's just normal muscle fatigue or something more serious? Here are a few red flags to watch out for. Pain that's sharp or stabbing, especially when you lift your arm overhead. A feeling like your shoulder is weak or unstable. Or pain that just doesn't go away with rest. And pain radiating down your arm to your elbow or hand. And the worst, waking up at night because your shoulder hurts. If you've got any of those, it's time to see a doctor or physical therapist. I've just checked. I am A-okay for now. Here's something a lot of people do get wrong, though. They rest for a month and expect their shoulder to magically heal. The problem? Resting too long causes your muscles to weaken and lose coordination. So when you go back to surfing, you're even more likely to get injured again. Yes, you need to give your shoulder a break if it's inflamed, but you also need targeted exercises to rebuild strength, balance, and mobility. All right, let's get into what actually helps from the people who know what they're talking about. Number 1, modify your paddling. Try paddling with a straight elbow instead of bent. This uses your lats more and reduces stress on your rotator cuff. I know, this is just temporary. If you have pain, bend the opposite knee while paddling. This shortens the lever through your back and shoulder and can take pressure off. I know, ridiculous, but it works. Keep your thumb up as your hand enters the water to avoid pinching the tendon overhead. This I gotta see. Warm up first. Even a few minutes of shoulder circles, arm swings, or resistant band work can make a big difference. I'm such a lazy surfer. I just want to run into the water. But you know what? The risk of injury has convinced me to do some warm-ups beforehand. And then strengthen the right muscles. Focus on your external rotators and scapular stabilizers. Here are a few exercises that you can actually do. Stop signs. Just get a resistant band and pull it apart to open your shoulders. Or side-lying external rotations. Lie on your side and lift a light weight from your stomach up to the ceiling. Or scapular squeezes. Sit or stand tall and pinch your shoulder blades together. You can also improve your thoracic mobility. Foam roll your mid-back. Stretch your pecs. The stiffer your upper back, the more your shoulders have to compensate. Rethink your wetsuit. If getting into a tight chest zip wetsuit makes your shoulder flare up, consider a bag zip or thinner wetsuit, even if it's a bit colder. I used to unzip my wetsuit when the paddling was too much with shoulder pain. You can also just move and surf in the tropics. Here's a solution. And now my favorite, surf smarter. Basically, that means shorter sessions. And my least favorite, longer rests between sets. Finally, you can just surf smaller waves or less crowded breaks if you're rehabbing. Here's the final thought. I read it somewhere and I am totally stealing it. Shoulder pain is the price of admission in surfing. Shoulders take a beating from all the paddling, pop-ups, and throwing the board over the top of white water. That's what I do. But that doesn't mean you have to accept chronic pain as part of the deal. If you pay attention to your body, build strength in the right places, and modify your technique, you can surf longer and hurt less. And remember, rest is good, but smart, active recovery is so much better. And that's all for today. Check out the Wipe Weekly for our free newsletter, more stories and ways to connect with us. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow for more of the Wipe Weekly.